Yo, what's up YouTube? Nightclub here. Hope y'all are doing well. Today I'm just going to be giving you guys a quick tutorial on how to make hyperpop melodies and the drums this time as well. So I'm going to be showing you guys what my process is on how I start off with the melodies and then how I add the drums after. Because almost always do the melodies first. So yeah, I have this pre-made beat that I have. First, I guess I'm going to talk about the intro because I feel like a lot of people on the intros, they make them either too long or it just doesn't fit well like whenever the beat drops. So I'm just going to play that real quick. So notice I don't have any of like the hard drums like the 808. Yeah, so what I did here is I have this synth that I basically like bounced out inside the FL project so it doesn't use as much computer memory or whatever. And I added a filter on it too, so it sounds like super low-key. It's basically like an ARP. But yeah, the main sound is actually this ARP, so I called it pad ARP, and I'll show you what that looks like. And it's basically just a bunch of chords. So I really recommend that's how you start out a lot of melodies. Either you start out the melody with the chords, or you start it out with the top line melody, like the lead basically. But yeah, this one I started it out with the chords. And this is what that sounds like. Really interesting ARP there. And actually this sounds way different. I added halftime on this. I'm sure you guys know what that is. Which one was it? It was this one. So yeah. Oh no, it was this one. So this is what it sounded like before. I have EQ and RC retro color. So yeah, super fast with the halftime. And it's the 1.5x mode, so that way it gives it like that weird like triplet bounce is what like people call it. So yeah, that's the main melody. So yeah, this is what that sounds like with the other synth. Right over here. Actually, I don't even have it stacked with that. So here, I'll show you guys. I'm just gonna solo all the melodies and the lead, and then I have a vocal chop. So yeah, super simple. And with the lead, I'll show you guys what that looks like. Yeah, basically just make sure you're in the right scale and just keep it simple. Really on this lead, to be honest, like it's actually kind of like almost too high pitched. Like, I don't know, it could make it harder for the artist to like get on it. So try using sounds that are really easy to like try to imagine yourself on it. Like if you can't even think of any like flows or anything, then like the artist probably can't either, you know, like if it sounds too cluttered. So really I could have went with a better sound that's a little bit cleaner, but I just really like the sound because of how like aggressive it sounded. So yeah, this is what it sounds like without that, with just the vocal lead and the ARP. So yeah, super simple. Like really I could have just kept it with that and then just did the drums and I would have been good, but I just like that extra lead there just to, for some parts, especially the hook. Really, like the hook is the part that you really want like the most energy. And another good tip I would say is like always have a good sound for the main lead. Like if you notice, a lot of these hyperpop beats, a lot of them for like the main melody, they sound the same. Like people use the same sounds, but it's really like the top line lead melody that's where you have to switch it up. That's what sets apart a lot of these beats from each other. So always try to have a good lead sound, a good top line melody sound selection. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this beat on the melody side. Like I said, always try to switch it up. Like I said at the beginning, this has a filter, the synth, so it sounds different. So it sounds more reserved than this part. See that? Like I cut out a lot of the highs on the intro part. So try to switch things up like that. Make things sound different. Maybe make it an octave lower, octave higher. I don't know. Put another filter on one of the parts. So yeah, that's the melodies. Now I'm gonna mute the melodies and just play y'all the drums. kind of like a triplet bounce. It's not like a regular bounce, so I'll show you guys what the 808 looks like. So as you can see how that bounce is weird. Like I have to put it on 1/3 step. You see that? Because if I just did regular 808s, like without the triplet bounce, it would sound weird. Like say I did like, a lot of people do this bounce. Like that sounds okay too, but it doesn't give it like that extra bounce. This is like a regular bounce for a regular non-triplet type beat. But you could have that on some parts too. I'm not saying this is like an absolute rule. I'm just saying like when you do different bounces, try to switch things up. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. So that's the triplet bounce. That's the 808. Hi-hats. I'll show you guys. So I have two sets of hi-hats. I have the main hi-hats. That's what that looks like. So as you can see, I added like a lot of people just do like the regular, you know, one pitch hi-hat. I like doing a bunch of different pitches in the same like thing. So I'll do a little bit higher, a little bit lower on some beats. And that just gives it like extra bounce. Look at my velocities as well. They're all like, you know, kind of random different. That just kind of like humanizes your hi-hats. It makes it actually sound like someone's actually like playing them on a drum set or something, not just like a robot at the same velocity continuously. So yeah, that's one of the hi-hats. And I think on the other ones, yeah, I basically just copy and pasted the hi-hats, but I made these like panned or something, so it just adds extra bounce. So I'd recommend doing that. Whenever you have like a weak hi-hat, try stacking it with another hi-hat that kind of like makes it sound more full, I guess you could say. I can show you guys the kick pattern too. So the kick pattern, I basically made it hit like almost every time the 808 hits, and I know a lot of people say that. They say like, oh yeah, and it makes it bounce off. But yeah, that's basically what I did. Like, I don't make it hit every time the 808 hits. The kick's almost like an emphasis. I kind of see it as like or like an exclamation point in like a sentence. Like you're just kind of like emphasizing certain things. So yeah, super simple kick. Oh, this is huge too. So you can hear those snare rolls. I usually don't really use a lot of snare rolls and stuff like that, but on triplet beats, like the snare rolls go crazy. So yeah, you guys can see what I did here. So yeah, right there, to make it sound like that, you just change the velocities. So if I just did like all the same velocities, it wouldn't sound as cool. Like listen, like it's just kind of like basic. But when you do the velocities rising like that, and you can also change the panning on that. It just sounds more interesting. I don't know. So yeah, that's one little tip I'd recommend doing with your snares. So what's the last? So yeah, that's all the drums. I showed you guys the melodies. Another thing is just adding effects. So a lot of people don't really do that. Like I always, if you notice on my beats, I always have some kind of like effect at the beginning and then like transitions. And that just keeps things like interesting, and it like people don't expect it, you know, they just expect the melodies, the 808s, the drums, but whenever they hear like a weird little like riser or fall, it just adds something extra to it. So yeah, just like at the beginning I have this riser. Super simple. And then right here, after, this is the hook right here. So right after the hook, I have this little fall effect. And you can barely hear it, but it's there. Like it's just, your ear kind of captures it barely. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for the tutorial. If you guys have any more tutorials you guys want me to make, let me know in the comments. Let me know what I could do better next time on the tutorials. And let me know what you really like. Hope you guys take care, and yeah, have a nice day.